Unbreakable people of the bravest country. Do you remember how Russia boasted that they would capture Kiev in 48 hours? Instead, Ukraine has been repelling the enemy for 48 days. Today it is worth remembering. Recall that the Russian leadership hoped to see the parade of occupiers on Chechnya a few days after February 24, after the invasion. And he sees slender ranks of occupiers every day, whom our defenders send to hell. In 48 hours, which stretched for 48 days, the Russian army reached a level of irreparable losses higher than the Soviet Union in 10 years of war in Afghanistan. Higher than Russia for the 2 wars in Chechnya. The total list of 200s for Russia will very soon reach the mark of 20,000. Literally one of these days, if not already tonight. And then what? 30,000 killed? 40,000? Today in Russia it was once again heard that their so-called special operation is supposedly going according to plan. But, to be honest, no one in the world understands how such a plan could even come about. How could a plan come about that provides for the death of tens of thousands of its own soldiers in a little more than a month of war? Who could approve such a plan? And what is the final level of their own losses for this person acceptable? Dozens or still hundreds of thousands of dead Russians? Obviously, no one cares about the number of Ukrainian civilians killed in Moscow. They say that they do everything for the sake of the people, for the sake of Donbas. But even during the Second World War, Donbas did not see such cruelty in such a short time. And from whom? From Russian troops. In the Donbas, the story of the siege of Leningrad was repeated. What for? What would the people who died or almost died in Leningrad during the Nazi blockade say about this? What would they say about the blockade of Mariupol? It was also reported from Russia today that the massacres committed by the Russian military in Bucha were allegedly a staging. For some reason, the mass murders in Borodyanka, Gostomel, Makarov, cities and villages of Chernihiv, Kharkiv regions, and Donbas have not been commented on yet. There are not as many staging in the world as there are murderers in the Russian army. Responsibility for war crimes is inevitable. As an example, I can cite today's result of the Security Service of Ukraine. It is very symbolic that Mr. Medvedchuk was detained on Cosmonautics Day. He hid for 48 days, but finally decided to try to escape from our country. Well, for this astronaut in the bad sense of the word did not work the famous "let's go." I think it is especially cynical of him to use military camouflage. I tried to disguise myself like that. Here is such a soldier. Here is such a patriot. Well, if Medvedchuk chose a military uniform for himself, he falls under the rules of wartime. I propose to the Russian Federation to exchange this guy of yours for our boys and our girls who are now in Russian captivity. It is therefore important that our law enforcement and military also consider this possibility. There are more and more testimonies and other official data of the investigation about the horrible crimes of the occupiers in the areas where they were, unfortunately, able to go. About the inhuman cruelty of the Russian military towards women and children. About numerous rapes. Not all serial rapists reach the level of brutality reached by Russian soldiers. Of course, we will establish the full truth about all these scoundrels. No matter how much time and effort it takes, we will find them all. And let Medvedchuk be an example for you. Even the former oligarch did not escape. What to speak of much simpler criminals from the Russian hinterland? We will get everyone. We take with great attention yesterday's reports on the use of munitions with a poisonous substance in Mariupol against the defenders of the city. It is not yet possible to draw 100% conclusions about what kind of substance it was. It is clear that it is impossible to conduct a full investigation and full analysis in the blocked city. However, given the repeated threats of Russian propagandists to use chemical weapons against the defenders of Mariupol and the repeated use by the Russian army, such as phosphorus munitions in Ukraine, the world must respond now. React preventively. Because after the use of weapons of mass destruction, any response will not change anything. And it will only look like a humiliation for the democratic world. Today, in his address to the Parliament, the people of Lithuania, and at the same time to all European nations, he stressed that the sixth package of EU sanctions against Russia must contain oil. It is enough to multiply insufficiently strong sanctions packages. Still, it must be acknowledged that only Europe's abandonment of Russian energy and the complete restriction of Russia's banking system could be an argument for Russia's leadership to seek peace. Without this, Moscow is looking for a military solution. He also spoke today with Austrian Chancellor Nehammer, who met with the Russian leader the day before. Exchanged details about this meeting. Many people like to take pleasure in the occupiers, troll their failures, the level of training of their soldiers, and the questionable quality of the latest Russian technology, which has been developed over the past 20 years and is inferior to Soviet models. And rightly so, that's right. But at the same time, we must understand that not all Russian tanks are stuck in the field. Not all enemy soldiers simply flee the battlefield. And not all of them are conscripts who do not know how to hold weapons properly. This does not mean that we should be afraid of them. This means that we must not belittle the merits of our soldiers, our army. And I want to thank them again, all our defenders. I don't get tired of doing it. And I want you and I not to tire of telling them the most important thing. We believe in you. We are proud of you. We admire you. We are proud of all our people who take to the streets despite the occupation. They are protesting. They are expelling the occupiers as best they can. We are proud of all our people. That is why it should always be emphasized that if our cities and villages are occupied, it is only temporary. And they will definitely be released. Will be released by our heroes. And not only by force of arms, but also by force of spirit. Such a spirit which is demonstrated almost daily by Ukrainian men and women in the cities and villages of the south of our country. In those areas that Russian troops have temporarily occupied and which our army has not yet liberated. No matter what, you need to resist the occupiers. It's hard, I know. You have to fight, protest, defend our national statehood. And be sure to punish collaborators. Let them make KHNR somewhere in Chechnya, not in our native Ukrainian Kherson. The future of Ukraine directly depends on the strength of our resistance in all its forms. The future of us all. Each of our cities, each of our villages. And I am grateful to everyone who realizes this. Who does not stop resisting even when it seems that the result is very far. Because the darkest time is always before dawn. And today I want to say something special to those heroes who are having a hard time. Those who defend Mariupol. Marine Battalion of the 36th Marine Brigade. Azov Special Purpose Detachment, 12th Operational Brigade of the National Guard of Ukraine. Subdivisions of the State Border Guard Service, Volunteers of the Right Sector, 555th Military Hospital and National Police. To all the military who are fighting in the US, who are defending Kharkiv, the Kharkiv region, to all the military group that is defending the Zaporizhia region, is defending the south. Special thanks to the 92nd, 93rd, 95th Brigades. Personally to General Neve. And I am infinitely grateful to everyone, on behalf of all Ukrainians. A few minutes ago I signed 3 decrees. 419 servicemen of the Armed Forces of Ukraine were awarded state awards. 72 of them are posthumous. Also, 30 servicemen of the main intelligence directorate of Ukraine were awarded state prizes. The title of Hero of Ukraine was awarded to Lieutenant Colonel Dmytro Mykolaievich Vasilyev, commander of the Missile Division of the 19th Missile Brigade. Posthumously, eternal glory to all our heroes, eternal memory to everyone who died for Ukraine. Inevitable punishment for all our enemies. Glory to Ukraine.